balancing these things, and eventually I will. Just look at what my neighbor's up to out there. Looks like he's got a giant boat moving into his yard. On land, I mean on a trailer. Let me just log in here so I can watch the stream and make sure everything is happening the way it's supposed to. Make sure you guys can see me. Make sure you guys can hear me. And as you see, I've been eating some mangoes, and I want to share eating the second half with y'all. I was eating mangoes on TikTok live a minute ago, and I still don't have a good handle on how to run things over on TikTok. I feel like I'm flying an airplane or something. I'm not quite 100% sure what I'm doing over there, but it looks like we have, okay, looks like you can see me. I don't know if it looks like crap. I don't know what the quality is, but there's 6 people out there. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know how the tech is. Sound and vid. Hey, Grader. Well, I don't have to type this, but I will. Hey, Grader, good. How you doing? You've been the first one here lately. You've been doing really good. So anyways, it's mango season, which means that I'm going to be eating mangoes every day, multiple times a day, for the next several months. Let me raise this up just a touch, because my head was cut off. I think that's better now. I got 3 mangoes that I'm going to be eating today. I've got this one here that I think is called a Zill, but I want y'all to correct me in case it's not a Zill. I think it's a Zill. I've got this one here, which I know is a Van Dyke. It's a dirty Van Dyke. It's one of the ones I've been saving for ourselves. And then this one here is called a Balliet. This is our house variety. This is what we grew from seedling out in our grove, and I named it after my grandparents, and it's a really, really delicious variety. This Zill, I'll talk about in a minute. I just tried and it was delicious. And then you also see here I've got some mango jam. I got a pile of mangoes. Whatever we pack, whatever's left over, you know, if the mangoes look a little dirty or something, you know, they just don't look quite right. I don't want to put them in a box. I'll save them and we'll make mango jam, mango popsicles, mango juice, all kinds of mango stuff afterwards. I got my mango eating towel here. Let me take a little drink of iced tea and we can get going. Looks like we got 12 people. Who's out there? Hit me up in the chat. Tell me who's out there. Namelessness. Okay, all is well with tech on your end. Good. I'm trying something new, Namelessness. I'm using a different setting on my phone, which should be a more clear picture and a more clear audio. I hope that's the case. I'm not 100% certain, but we'll see. But I've been having a lot of success on these streams lately and having a lot of fun getting to know you guys. Gary Simpson, where you been? Or maybe you've been here just under an alias and I don't know. Gary Simpson is here. How have I been? I've been awesome, Gary. The last 3 weeks, even if you were around, I wouldn't have noticed you. Because all I've been doing is picking mangoes, packing mangoes, shipping mangoes, eating mangoes, making videos about mangoes, and talking about mangoes, which is what and making mango jam, mango salsa. My wife made this beautiful mango parfait or something last night. We're just loving life. And let me make a quick announcement here to the 14 people that are watching. We're doing a meetup here at SleepyLizard Avocado Farm this Sunday, June 8th at 11 a.m., 19280 Southwest 270th Street, Homestead, Florida. We're going to have a bunch of mangoes to eat. We're going to be selling mangoes. We'll probably have some mamey. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll be selling some of this jam. I've got a regular jam, and I've got a mango pepper jam with chamoy. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful. It took me a couple times to figure out how to make the chamoy look pretty. I didn't want to mix it up. I just put a little bit of mango, a little bit of chamoy, and I tried to, I don't know, whatever. I came up with a way to kind of make it look pretty. Plus, it's my warning system that if you're not into eating spicy stuff, you do not want to take a scoop of that because it'll burn your mouth. It's got a lot of pepper in it. And today's Thursday. I don't like to ship on Thursday. Or is it Wednesday? No, today's Thursday. I don't like to ship on Thursdays because it's too close to the weekend. Maybe it's someone from Florida where it's going to go overnight. But for the rest of the country, this is when I switch from like picking to doing more of my administrative work, stuff like that. I build a bunch of boxes and stuff like that today. I'm just taking a little break to have some mango. So tell me, where are you guys at right now? Are you on your lunch break? I suppose if you're on the East Coast, it's near your lunchtime. Are you on the East Coast? Are you on the West Coast? And by that, I don't mean the West Coast of Florida. I mean the West Coast of the United States, you know, Washington, Oregon, California. California, some of my best customers for avocados. Unfortunately, the state of California will not allow us to ship mango there. But if you live in any of the 49 other states, you can get mango from us at guacfarm.com. GUACFARM.com. That's where we sell our fruit. And last week, some very lucky customers got this variety that I think is the Zill, but I'm not 100% positive. I was up in my tree picking, and there were a bunch of these that were green. Let me grab a green one. I'm still here. Don't go anywhere. I'm still here. I'm still here. So there were a bunch of them up in the tree, green like this, and I didn't think much of it. Clearly too early to pick. This is a mango that's, you see green like this, you don't even think to pick it. There's only a little flush of yellow on it. But, on that tree were a bunch of them that were already lit up and already colorful. Oh, Noe's home, everybody. You're always asking where Noe is. She's walking in the door now. So this fruit was really colorful, and I was up 16 feet high in my picking machine, and I grabbed one amongst all these other green ones, cut it open and took a bite, and it was delicious. And I'm going to take a bite of this right now. No, can you get a bite of this Zill variety mango? It's got a little bit of a creamier flesh. It's not like, for example, this one, the Balliet, has a more liquidy, a more juicy flesh. And this one here, when we do it, the Van Dyke, has more of a cellular, like almost like a melon. But this one here has more of a creamy flesh, this Zill. And give that a taste. Noe. There's Noe. Here she comes. There she is. Look, take a bite of that thing. Oh my God. Nice thin skin, easy to peel. Isn't it good?
Oh my God.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Good, isn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's this one.
What's the name?
Zill, I think. I'm waiting for someone to correct me. It looks like a Van Dyke because it's got that little bird beak bump, but I know it's not a Van Dyke. But remember putting these in the boxes last week?
Yeah.
So when it ripens up, when it finishes ripening, it'll be colorful like this. And our customers are going to get to have this flavor.
Wow,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
What else are you trying?
Well, I've got the Van Dyke. You want another Zill?
Yes.
I've got the Van Dyke, which I already know you like. This is what a Van Dyke looks like, and I mentioned, well, you can't see it maybe. It's got this little bird beak bump, but they're more full and round. They're not oblong like this one. This guy also has the little bird beak bump. The one I think is a Zill, but y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. So here you go. Here's a piece of the Van Dyke. Oh wait, I want a piece of that too. Or did I give you the Van Dyke already? No.
No.
Okay.
That was a Zill. No?
Yeah, so here's the Van Dyke. And you'll notice a difference in the flesh.
Yeah.
Right away. It's like more like a melon, more like a watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Growing Together Nursery, how you doing? The jam is delicious. We got the regular jam, we got the pepper jam with chamoy. You had it for breakfast today. What do you think?
Oh my God, it was amazing.
And then Noe likes to go around the pot and take the skin off. It's like
It's like candy.
It's candy. It is candy. It's fruit leather. It's delicious. How good is that?
This is amazing.
So last week our customers also got a Zill, or two in the box.
I remember putting it in there.
And then we didn't send any Balliet. So here's the Balliet. This is our family variety, named after my grandparents, Bill and Bessie Balliet. There you go. And you'll see this one is so juicy, like so juicy, it like drips.
Yeah, why is that? Why?
It's
They're so juicy like that.
just a juicy mango. Isn't it good?
Wow.
I know.
And the flesh is like so orange.
Yeah. And these are three classic Florida mangoes. There's nothing special about these. I have one I grow, it's the Kesar. It's an import from India. Grow it out in the backyard. We don't sell it. It's just for our own personal collection. But some lucky person got a Kesar this week because I had one sitting here. I was going to make a live stream or a video and talk about eating it, and accidentally went out in someone's box. So they're going to have a real treat this week.
Yeah. Let us know who was that lucky person. I'm curious.
It says KSR on it with Sharpie. Oh, is that good?
It's so good.
That is a good mango.
Mm.
So I had to go out and rescue them today. No, I went out and picked a bunch because the stupid squirrels are having a field day.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Well,
taking me to the farm.
That tree is along our neighbor's property.
Mm.
Well, she's now moved away, but she's neglected her tree line the whole 13 years we've been living here.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
Yeah, and she's got all kinds of critters and squirrels and stuff, and they come and they steal these mangoes from us.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, if a hurricane comes from her side and blows all the trees onto our side, within 3 days it's going to look like nothing happened here.
Yeah.
Because we'll just bring in the heavy equipment
Yeah, we take
that
care
we
of
use
stuff.
in the groves and grind that shit right up and it's done. Now, if the wind comes from my direction and blows the trees onto their property, she's dead meat.
Mm-hmm.
Because she doesn't have, she's a school teacher. She don't have
She doesn't know
access to
anybody.
equipment and
No.
stuff. She's got $10,000-$15,000 worth of cleanup to do. What? Okay. And I've offered, I've told her, I'll come in and do everything for free. I'll cut your tree, and I'll trim the tree line we share.
Yeah.
Anything that falls onto your side, I'll jump over the fence, throw onto our side, we'll shred up for you. Even if you want some stuff cut from your side while we're in here, we'll do it for free. I'll just pay my guys to do it, you know?
That's so sweet.
She says no. And so, we're gonna have to talk to the new owners when they sell, and I'll make the same offer. I'll say, look, I'll cut this all for free, and if they insist on keeping it, I'll say, that's fine, because I like the trees, and I like how big they are.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm gonna have to tell them, if they fall on your side, it's gonna be hard to clean them up.
Yeah.
They fall on my side, I don't give a shit. I mean, it's fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, well, that's good. Here,
It's so good.
cook the other half of that guy. Who do we got out here, Noe? Okay, Grader wants to know, Noe, do women love mangoes more than men? How would you even measure that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Cynthia's in Houston, Texas. How you doing, Cynthia? I recognize your name. Armstrong in Texas. Are you related to Lance Armstrong? Look, I still wear the Livestrong. Look up. I still wear the actual, like, original Livestrong band. I bought these back in, like, 2001. I bought, like, 3 packs of 20. And whenever one breaks, I just go get another one. I've been wearing them for almost 25 years.
Forever, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Tori's in Louisiana, and Tori's mangoes will be coming in today. I remember you, Tori.
Yeah. Mm.
Instinct, hello from Germany. You recently tried a Palmer mango for the first time and wanted to know what I think of it. To be honest, you found it a bit worse compared to Kent and Kit. Well, I might know why. You said you recently tried a Palmer mango. Okay. Tell me what you mean by recently. You mean this week? Within the last few weeks? Within the last month or two? Because the Palmer is a late season mango. And we don't pick Palmers until August or even going into September. So if you ate a Palmer now, it was likely picked too early. Now, it might have been grown in another, like in the other hemisphere. It might have been grown somewhere, but in that case, it was probably picked and shipped all the way to Europe and might not have tasted too good. But I like the Palmer. The Palmer is a classic mango. Its parents are the Hayden. You see any Haydens now? I think this might be a Hayden. No, that's a Tommy. I think, is this guy a Hayden? Whatever. I can't find one right now, but the parent, one of the parents of the Palmer is a Hayden. Yeah, which is this mango right here. Delicious classic Florida mango. And
So good.
yeah. And the Palmer is a class. I like Palmers, and I like them because they're my end of season mango. They look a little bit like that one we just ate, the Zill. They've got a slightly like oblong egg shape. And I find them pretty good. Nothing crazy, nothing special, but a good solid mango. So it's definitely not the right time if you live in America. Now you're in Germany. I don't know where your Palmer mango came from, but too early to eat them here. Clock repairer, yeah, okay, he can hear me, but yeah. Clock repairer is Gary Simpson, and what he likes to do is disrupt me and get me to focus on him. I think he's got like a little personality type thing, a little narcissism. He likes to, he's got like a main, well, I would call it main character syndrome, except for he's got a whole cast of characters he logs in on. So, there, Clock, you distracted me, you got what you wanted. Tarsh Tripathi says, hello, can I deliver these to India? Cannot, they've never made it. They get stopped at customs, but I'll tell you what, I don't know why you want mangoes from here when you live in India, because you guys have the greatest tasting mangoes.
They do.
The Kesar, the Bombay, the Alfonso, oh, just such good mangoes over
You
there.
got really
Mm-hmm. Rockaways. I think one of your boxes did your boxes arrive? I can't remember, you might have texted me. This I'm eating right now, this is that Zill, right? You cut up?
Yeah, I think that's.
So we're eating Zill. We just finished up a Balliet, which is our house variety.
How's the seed of the seal? It's like very skinny?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. And then this is the seed from the Balliet. I'm gonna go around it. You guys sometimes hear me talk about jelly seed. This guy went a little too long on the tree, starting to get a little jelly seed. See there? And that gets like to like a flavorless.
Yeah.
It's a waste. That's why we don't let our mangoes ripen on the tree. Now sometimes they'll sneak up on you. You know what I mean? No.
What?
This won't come as news to people who eat a lot of mangoes, but each bite of mango could be different. The bite that's closer to the seed will have one flavor. The bite that's in the middle will have another, and the bite that's closest to the skin will have yet another flavor. That's how rich and sophisticated mangoes are. There's a little Valencia Pride over there on the table. Go grab it. Actual facts. Hey, how you doing? How's the Santos family doing? Good to hear from you. Uktish says, Utkarsh, understood, but he really wants that giant mango. Yeah, I do have this Ford mango, which makes this beast look small. No, the Valencia Pride, but give me that one.
Yeah, okay.
But there's a little Valencia there.
A little one?
So right,
Okay.
yeah. This is another Balliet mango. This is our homegrown variety. And look at the size of this guy. This guy's huge, right? The Ford mango is 50%, maybe 60% even bigger than this one. Our Fords get up to 5 pounds each. I'm really impressed that you remembered that. Wow. But yeah, they get huge. The rectified dude, don't know if he's a narcissist, but when I put it like that, it sounds like you are. It's cool. I mean, everyone, at the end of the day, we're all about ourselves, our self-preservation, you know, what's in it for me, kind of with them, right? I was a salesman all my life, and you're always looking for the personal win for the person you're selling to, right? And a lot of salesmen tend to be narcissists, and they make it about themselves, but you got to make it about your customer. So there ain't no issue there. And I'm cool with sharing the spotlight with you. You're actually a very funny, entertaining guy. Occam's razor, you're probably going to make your Tommy a Pickering. Yeah, why not? I mean, or go half. If you like Tommy, leave 1 or 2 branches of Tommy and put the rest Pickering. You know what I mean? This is a little Valencia Pride I found that kind of softened and fell to the ground. I doubt it's ready. It's still a month early for Valencia, but let me cut this guy open and see. I'm going to say not. Nope, I can tell just by looking. That's going to taste very like nutty, grassy, and lemony. It's way too early for Valencia Pride. But I was out picking this morning. I saw that on the ground. I thought I'd give it a try, but no, I'm not going to do that. The Rockaways validates that my prizes are real. Yes, when I do a giveaway, people get, I mean, I'll prove it right now. I'll do a giveaway of a hat. I'm going to say right now, if you've already won a contest of mine, don't participate, please, because you don't get to win this time. Let someone new participate and try to win. But why don't I ask, what's the name of the house variety mango that I told you we grew that's named after my grandparents that we're eating right now, that I'm taking a bite out of right now? What's the name of that mango? Winner gets a SleepyLizard baseball cap. There you go, Brian. This was supposed to be my lunch, but I saw you brought sushi. Is that for me? All right, so I got some food to eat. Over and above mango. How are they doing, Nelly? Okay, Ken De La Cruz. Let's see. Yep. Ken De La Cruz beat you to it, greater and namelessness. He spelled it wrong, but I'm going to give it to you because I never spelled it to you anyways. And so, Ken De La Cruz, if you've never won a prize from me before, I need you to go to the main page of my YouTube channel, click on the contact, or click on the about button. There will be a button that says contact creator, or whatever, message creator. I'll get an email from you, tell me your shipping address, and I'll send you a Sleepy Lizard baseball hat. Congratulations, you won. And I'm flattered that people knew the answer.
I love that. They pay attention.
Yeah, no one listens to me. No one. I know, it's so nice to be listened to. I was chatting with someone this morning, and I was telling her like something kind of important to me. After like 15 minutes of listening to her, and then I got like 2 sentences out, and then it was back to her topics. You know what I mean? And I'm like, come on, man.
Rude.
You know? Well, it's nice to know that people listen.
Look at that. They're all answering.
Occam's razor, his harvest moon hasn't fruited yet. I hear that's a good one. Mijo Simpson. Maybe subconsciously you're a narcissist, but I didn't realize my personality was so self-centered. Well, I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Gary, Mijo, clock repairer, table fixer, whoever you are. I had a friend one time. This is before social media, before texting really got popular, but like we thought like we'd communicate via like email chains, right? The early days of like electronic communication. So I got an email, I was one of like 40 people. It was from a friend of mine, and it said, can you please fill out this personality assessment about, and it was her name. And about a week later I get a call saying, you did the personality assessment of me. Why did you check narcissist? And I said, well, let's start with the fact that you sent 40 people an email to do a survey about you. Right? Another thing I remember, and this has nothing to do with like presidency. This is 1980s era Donald Trump. This is New York City casino building Donald Trump wrote one of his books. And I remember seeing a statistic, like he used the word I, the pronoun I, the first person pronoun I think he used it like a dozen times per page. And that made me examine myself and how often I use the word I, how often I use the word me versus you, we, us. And I think if we examine our language, it tells us a lot about our personalities, right? And so I have another friend, and every time I tell her a story, I have to real quickly say, this has nothing to do with you, right? Someone I know ate a bunch of ice cream and they got sick and threw up. You don't have to tell me you can eat ice cream without throwing up. You don't have to tell me about the last time you threw up. This ain't about you. So yeah, my Joe, Gary, clock fixer, you do like to make things about. Corey has a harvest moon too. His is in a 7-gallon. Are we selling the pepper jam? Reagan, I don't sell the pepper jam online, but we are doing a meetup this week, Sunday, June 8th, 11 a.m., Sleepy Lizard Avocado Farm, 19280 Southwest 278th Street, Homestead, Florida 33031. Starting at 11 a.m. We will be selling the jam in person. I don't sell these things online, and I really don't even expect a lot of people to buy them because I have to charge like $10, and I don't even know if $10 is worth it. Like, I don't know what a jar of jam sells for, but I know if I sell it for less than 10, I'm giving it's like I'm not even breaking even.
Yeah.
When you look at all the ingredients and the cost of the jar and the time involved and everything like that, I definitely am not going to get into the jam business. Now, my fruit, I'll look anyone in the eye and defend my price.
Yeah.
You know, I give a very good price
Excellent price.
for fruit
Mm-hmm.
and for what people get, right? The quality they're getting. It's an excellent price. And I do that on purpose because I want my YouTube viewers, I want my TikTok, my social media people to share in this experience we have. I'd rather make my money off the YouTube ad revenue than off of fruit. However, every year I started to make more and more money off of my retail, my fruit sales to you guys, my guacfarm.com, GUACFARM.com. That's where you can go to buy these mangoes, to buy this mamey, to buy our avocados when they're in season in a couple of weeks. But that's how I want people to share, you know, this is more like my merch, like augments, right? Something like this, I'd have to really charge a high price, like a boutique specialty, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Me neither.
But like the jar itself, the amount of time we spend, the additional ingredients, it's not cheap to make jam. So I will be selling it at the thing, but if people don't buy it, that's okay, because we'll just keep it for ourselves.
Yeah, we'll eat
know?
it.
And I like to give it away in gifts too. But I don't like to sell prepared food like online, because then you start running into all kinds of food handling issues and different. I would have to get all kinds of different certifications and inspections and stuff like that. Jupiter Mojo, Publix has mango jam on sale. Buy one, get one. You had your hand for a minute, then thought, what the hell am I doing? I'm growing mangoes. Yeah, I think if you buy mango jam at Publix or at a supermarket, it's really going to be mostly pectin and high fructose corn syrup with a little bit of juice sweetener.
It's more like candy.
This, like when we're scooping these into the jars,
Oh my god.
there's big clumps of mango, like,
oh my god.
like slithering off the spoon, and you know, you go to get it on the knife and you can't get it because it's just this big hunk, this big sliver of, you know, like something like this big chunk of mango is going to be in there. Oh, it's just so good, isn't it? She was so happy when she had it for breakfast today. You can pull up a chair if you want, you know.
That's okay. I gotta go in a minute.
Mm-hmm. Reagan's in Texas. All right. We have a lot of customers in Texas.
Which one is this one, babe?
This is Balliet.
Oh wow.
I know, it's so good, isn't it? I mean, like, I get so excited when I bite into a Balliet. A lot of that's because it's our homegrown variety.
Yeah.
I'm not going around saying this beats a Sunrise or a Lemon Zest or a White Perry or anything like that. Because this is very much a classic Florida mango.
Yeah.
But compared to the other seedlings we've grown, which tasted funky, had a lot of fiber, didn't always produce, I'm very pleased with this. Now, am I going to pursue it? No, I'm not going to patent it. I'm not going to like propagate it and try to make it a new commercial variety. It's just a little something for my, you know, a little something dedicated to my grandparents.
Very sweet.
Occam's razor, guy up the street grafts Ford mangoes. Do I think it's worth adding? Okay, a couple things about the Ford. The Ford, you might want to consider a kit, because you can kind of stretch the kits almost as long as Ford. The kit is I think a better producer than the Ford. I've had good years with my Ford, but these Ford, now kits will get up to 3.5 pounds also. But a Ford mango is a 5-pound mango. So you're gonna have, you know, 50, 60, 5-pound mangoes that have to sit on your tree all the way to the end of August into September, because they're a late season mango. You're going to have rainstorms, summer thunderstorms, maybe even little small tornadoes if you live here in South Florida. And those fruit have to make it all the way to the end of the season, and they are gigantic. My tree, by the time it comes time to pick them, it does drop a lot of fruit. But they're 5 pounds each. What are you going to do, you know? So it's cool to have a Ford, and it's cool to stretch your season into September. But for me, I think the kit tastes a little better.
It does.
You can stretch kits into September. They're not as big, so they don't put as much stress on the tree. And man, when I make the kit jam, like if you see that the mango I used in there is Tommy, and it's a little bit lighter. This one we used Hayden, it's more orange. When we make jam with kits, oh my God, it's orange like a pumpkin. Yeah, and it tastes so good. And the kit is so big, I just cut the cheek, and like I squeeze the flesh in, move. I mean, it's just a great, you know, jam making mango also, but also a very delicious one. So you know, if you want the Ford, go for it. But I think the kit serves the same purpose, and you're probably going to get a better yield. And I think the kit tastes a little better. But that's just my opinion on the taste. Corey, okay, Reagan's in Texas. He bought from us, and he agrees we're more than fair. You know, I've had a complaint here or there. There's probably 3 complaints this season, and all 3 of the people I had, like, they were comparing the box they got from me to boxes they got from other Florida vendors or what they're seeing on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah. You're comparing a $150 box of mangoes to my $50 box of mangoes. Like, of course, like, if I go to Publix and buy a bunch of pears, I know they're not going to be the same as them Harry and David pears, you know, and they're not going to be packaged in, you know, and so pretty, you know, if you want something that's packaged really pretty and, you know, takes the time with every one and all that kind of stuff, those people have to charge 3 to 4 times what I charge because of all the extra labor they put into building, you know, picking and prepping and building the box. And
it's just a different product.
Yeah, I'd rather make it about the eating. In fact, I did an ugly fruit sale where I took our fruit that was scarred up like this and sold them for $35 for 10-pound box. People loved them.
Yeah.
Pretty? Hell no. Would you send it to your boss for him and his wife's wedding anniversary? No way. But if you like to peel a mango and just
crazy.
That's what you want. Yeah. So thank you, Reagan. I appreciate.
That.
I appreciate your appreciation. Thank you for that. Charge Mopar, how you doing, buddy? Rick, your mango tree is loaded. Yeah, it's a pretty good year. You saw someone who looked like me pulling a polecat on Redland Road last week. What is a polecat? Because it might have been me.
It might have been you.
Is that a name? Let me look up a polecat.
That's funny.
Polecat. Equipment. Let's see. Yeah, it was probably me. Yeah, it's a picker. I would call that a picking machine or a cherry picker. If I was going real slow and blocking traffic, I apologize. It starts to fishtail after 20 miles an hour. Oh, the handsome bowl producer. Looks like the man of many names, the narcissist, created it. I could tell just by his names. Somehow went from numerous accounts to you being a narcissist. I've talked about you being a narcissist before. Where are we here? Instinct. The Palmer was from Brazil. I just saw it and you ate it a week ago. Okay. If the Palmer was first cultivated in Brazil, I do believe the parent is still the Hayden. Let's see. History of Palmer mango. No. The original tree was grown from seed around 1925 on the property of Mrs. Victor Mell of Miami, Florida. Let's see. Believed to be a seedling of a Hayden mango. Yeah, it's not. You might have had a Palmer that was grown in Brazil, but the cultivar was grown right here in Dade County. And it is. It's a classic Florida mango. Now, I have one called a Naomi. Let me grab it. Sorry, I'm going to walk off camera again. Sorry, guys. I'm right here. Wait, where the hell is my other Naomi? Where'd it go? God damn it. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. Sorry about that. I did not have to run away. Here is a Naomi. You see I marked it with an N. And I just picked this one because it's weird. It was like white. Naomis are usually dark green. Naomis are usually more like this color. This is the Tommy, but they're more usually like dark green with a little red blush. This one was way up in the tree and it was kind of like faded like this. So I just picked it. I'm going to eat it later. But the Naomi was first cultivated in Israel, and its parents are the Palmer and the Hayden. So the Palmer's parent is the Hayden. The Naomi's parent is the Palmer. So its other parent is the Hayden, but its grandparent is also the Hayden. So you've got Naomi, whose mom is a Palmer, and his dad is a Hayden, and then his mom's dad is also a Hayden, the Naomi. There's a lot of history with these varieties. Gardening Today stopped in quick to say hi. It is lunchtime gardening today, and thank you for showing up. We appreciate that you're here. Line, two vertical lines, or maybe his name is 11. Hey Tom, is it technically possible to ship a carton of mangoes to Europe regardless of cost? Is it only a customs issue that you don't want to mess with? Well, I mean, I don't agree that the qualifier only, the adjective, is it only a customs issue. I'm running a business and I need to stay in line with the law. And so, you know, I don't want to be on the radar of customs or the Department of Agriculture or anything like that. Yeah, do people send stuff to other countries, or, you know, do people sneak mangoes into California? I suppose so, but I'm pretty high profile because of my YouTube channel, my TikTok presence, all that stuff. So I'm not someone that really wants to violate any laws or anything. Plus, it's just who I am. I prefer to stay in between the lines. Have I broken rules in the past? Yeah, I'm not with my business, but like, you know, I mean, whatever, I'm a human being. But, I mean, if you had an aunt or something and she went and picked a bunch of mangoes and shipped them to you in Europe, they'd probably make it, or they might get caught and get incinerated. However, it'd be very expensive because it would have to be like overnight or 2-day shipping in order for them to, you know, for you to make sure you got them, because that's a long way to go. Occam's razor. Okay, yeah, I mean, again, ask a lot of different people. There are other late varieties. I'm told the M4 is also a late variety and that one's really good, but I've never tried it and I can't. But like, go ahead and verify that for yourself. I'm not 100% sure. Cosmo wants to know, do we have soursop? We do not. I love soursop, also called guanabana, but we don't grow it here ourselves. But I love it. I buy it when I want it. That table guy, there he is again. Reagan, I helped you with advice on an avocado tree and oh, you're welcome. I've been a salesman all my life. And if you even look at my YouTube channel, you'll see I reply to every comment. I don't delete comments. I believe in free speech. I think since I started my YouTube channel, I've deleted maybe 3 comments, and they were very, very mean-spirited, like just rotten, hateful things that were directed at other commenters. People could say rotten stuff about me, I don't care. But, you know, someone was kind of picking on some other commenters on my channel. So I think, you know, for, you know, 40 million views and all the comments that go along with that, I can only recall deleting 3 comments. In fact, YouTube will delete comments on behalf of me, and I always undelete them, because I believe in free speech, like, very much. Like, I really like that. I grew up with sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And somehow now people are going around like worrying about what people say. Like, please, like fucking toughen up. You know what I mean? And so anyways, you know, I just let people say what they want on my channel. I don't know how I got on that tangent. Sorry about that. Oh, so yes, Reagan. So I helped you right away. As a lifelong salesman, it's just hard for me to not reply. Now, I have Instagram and I have TikTok, and I can't manage those apps. I have to work on a computer. I got my little laptop here, you know. I have a very hard time functioning on a phone, and TikTok and Instagram, they're made for a younger generation. Even though I have a degree in computer science, I've written code, sophisticated code. If you've been a patient in a hospital in America anytime between like 1993 and 2010, your case was probably processed with code that I wrote in one way or another, your hospital visit. Anyway, TikTok, I can't figure it out. There'll be a comment there, I go to reply, the comment's gone, an hour later it's back, I just can't deal with it. But on YouTube, my texts, my emails, I always reply. The thing that's been so hard for me since my YouTube channel blew up is I can't return phone calls. And when I say I can't return phone calls, here's what I mean. I could stop doing everything and I still would not return all the calls. I could stop picking fruit, going to the gym, brushing my teeth, eating dinner, driving my car, if I just sat there all day and returned every phone call and answered every call, I still wouldn't get to everybody. I really learned how big a number a million is. When you have a video hit a million, and I've had lots of them, okay? Right before I was a farmer, I was a salesman. And okay. Right before I was a farmer, I was a salesman. And I would sell large scale computer systems. We're talking 30 million, 40 million, 60 million, in some cases $150 million. I sold $1 billion worth of software in my time, either as a direct salesman or a sales manager with people under me. And you don't just flip a $40 million order at a $2 billion hospital. Those orders take, technically, officially, they say 18 months to 2 years. No, those orders take 5 years. Those orders sometimes take 15 years. I had customers that when I was junior, they were like a junior in the accounting department or in the billing department. As my career advanced, their careers advanced. I've been to their weddings, I've been to their children's christenings, right? I've been there when they got their promotions, and eventually they're the chief financial officer of a hospital, and I'm the vice president of sales for this large company that I used to work for. These deals took forever, and you'd have to get boards of directors on board. You'd have to get entire teams, 50, 60, 100 physicians on board. You'd have to get the managers of all the departments on board. Sometimes if it was a public hospital, you'd have to get the city council, to vote your way. And so our selling methodology was rooted in human psychology, and the fundamental, the anchor principle of my selling methodology is that people want to please their mother. And that your mother could represent lots of different things, but most people want to please mom. And what you got to do is figure out who's mom and how can you help that person please mom. Mom might be you might be a CEO of a hospital, but you have a very difficult director of cardiology, not director, a very difficult chief cardiologist, a very powerful guy in the community. And even though you're technically his boss, you're the CEO of the company, he can go right to the board and say, I'm gone. And if he leaves, hundreds of millions of dollars of business goes with him, right? So the CEO of that hospital, mom, might be pleasing that cardiologist, and I needed to know that. Another principle we used in our selling is that people make their decisions emotionally and justify them intellectually. So for example, we have a bunch of friends and we all got into camping. My wife and I had already been into camping. I have an old 1976 Volkswagen bus, a camper bus. It's got camping, beds in it and stuff like that. And little by little, they all started buying campers, and then they started buying bigger campers, and we'd be sitting around, they'd be trying to talk me into buying a camper. I'd say, guys, not only do I have a camper, I had a camper before you did. Yes, it's a 1976 van. It's not some fun thing that you got at, Camping World or whatever. That I know they can't afford. They cannot afford it, right? And so they'd start out with a little 19-footer or something like that. Next thing you know, they're getting a fifth wheel camper, right? Which means you also have to get a big truck. It means you also have to pay somewhere to store the camper, right? And they'd say things like, well, we did dip into our 401k, but you might die tomorrow. Or, at least we'll have memories. They made an emotional decision to buy the camper, but they know they can't afford it. And then they're justifying that decision intellectually by saying it's going to give us memories with our children, right? And then I could go on and on all day, but I mean, the good salespeople, guys that close, multi-million dollar orders, tens of millions, 100 million plus orders, understand human psychology. We understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a pyramid or a triangle, right? And at the bottom are your base needs: air, food, pooping, peeing, right? Just your base things to stay alive, like an earthworm or an amoeba. Then the next level up, you start getting into things like security and social instinct and having friends. And then the next thing up is like being able to prepare for your future, and like a squirrel puts nuts in hides nuts for the winter, right? And then eventually at the top, you have what they call self-actualization, you know, and that might be Lady Gaga. You know, she was put on this planet to sing and entertain people, and she worked her way up to that, right? And so here's how Maslow's hierarchy of needs works. Whatever level you're on is what's going to motivate you, right? So if you're close to self-actualization, you're a grandpa, you raised two sons and a daughter, and each of them raised 2 kids, and you've got 6 grandchildren. And the local elementary school named their library after you because you made a big donation to the library. And your house is paid off and looks really good, and your kids have all gotten educations, and your grandchildren's educations are all paid for. You were a mountain climber, you climbed Mount Everest. You were a marathon runner, you ran marathons, you accomplished things, right? You've self-actualized. If you're that guy and we're sitting on the front porch, you are very unlikely to grab me by the head and stick your thumb in my eye and try to gouge my eye out, right? But if we go around back to your beautiful swimming pool, and we're in the swimming pool, and I hold your head underwater, and all of a sudden, I took you from self-actualization straight down to survival. Now you can't get a breath of air. You'll take your thumb and you'll stick it in one eye and pop it out, and you'll stick it in another eye and pop it out, and then you'll start clawing my brains out. 2 minutes later, we were just on your porch, you weren't going to stick your thumb in my eye. Now I got your head underwater, right? So you have to understand people's motivations and why they do things. And that's how we would sell. I would study these guys. I knew if someone was the head of the department, the chief of a group of doctors, the CEO, a board member, I knew who else was up for competition in those jobs. I know who's happy he got the job. I know who's pissed he got the job. I know who quit and went to another hospital because my customer. I know what hospital everyone came from and what their history. I knew who was fucking who was cheating on who, and these people never even laid eyes on me once. And it was very weird because I'd walk into a room and meet someone for the first time, and I'd be like, oh, I know you screwed over Charlie over there for this CEO job. Charlie's been with the hospital 40 years. You came along, you dazzled the board, and you're not even qualified for the job. He is. And he's pissed at you. And then I could pull on that lever, you know. I know you're getting a divorce, and I know your wife is moving in with your college roommate. And why do I know that? Because I called a buddy of mine because I want to know. I already know who your college roommate is because that's an important piece of information for me to know. And I know he works in a hospital in Cleveland, Ohio. And I called my fellow rep in Cleveland. What do you know about so and so? Oh, so and so, yeah, he's pissed at your guy because his wife left him. You know what I mean? I would know all that stuff. And what does that have to do with selling software? Nothing. But it has everything to do with what are the things that are going to motivate them to buy. Meanwhile, my competition comes strolling in. Oh, look at how great this product is. It comes in blue. Our uptime is 99%. We will give you a discount. Yeah, awesome. You keep doing that. I'm going to navigate their psychology. That's how we would sell. You got me off on another tangent, not Mopar, that's Rick. You got me off on another tangent, Simpson, but that's what you do. Let's see, greater good. Does this mean I'm not going to sell you a 10-pound box of filet mignon for $4.99 a pound? Greater, if I started growing cattle, I probably would. You know, if I could sell it for that much. See, that's the other thing. I don't have to go through a middleman. That's another way I can keep my price low, right? Now, I do go through a middleman. Whatever I don't sell retail, I send to a packing house. That's the first middleman. From there, they send it to a grocery store. That's the second middleman. And then the food gets to you. Now, there might even be a third middleman, right? I might hand my crop over to a picking company, middleman number 1. They sell to a packing house, middleman number 2, who sells to grocery stores and Walmart and what have you. That's middleman number 3. And every one of those people need to add a margin. Me, I went out this morning, I picked a bunch of mangoes from the tree, put them in a box, they're already on their way to the guy up in Orlando, Florida. No middleman. Rick, even though you hardly ever eat fruit, you're addicted to growing fruit trees. I get that. Sorry, I didn't know it was a basic legal issue. Shoot. No, you're not luring me into something. I'm just explaining to you where I'm coming from, but also let you know if you could find someone else who's willing to break the law, they could probably help you. It's not like I'd be going to jail or nothing, but I just like to I like to keep my side of the road clean, especially like, man, again, back to this company. I worked for them for 22 years. I did every single expense report to the penny. We would fire people for messing with their expense report. You'd have a guy making 400 grand a year, and he put $50 worth of gas in his wife's car on our gas card. Your ass is fired for trying to save $50 when you're making 400 grand a year. I did not mess with expense reports. I did not mess with anything. When we get paid our commissions, there was always mistakes, and every time the mistake would be in the company's favor. And I was always to the penny. And that way, when you fuck with me, I get on a plane, I show up at headquarters, I kick down the door, and I say, you owe me money. And I am bulletproof. You can't threaten me. You can't say, well, while you're here claiming I owe you money, let's take a look at your expense reports. I say, go ahead, look at my expense reports. They are clean to the penny. And so that's why I just like, especially when it comes to like business and jobs and stuff like that, I just like to stay, because people are always trying to screw you. And the ones that are good at it will find areas of exposure, and now they know what you did last summer. Well, if you didn't do nothing last summer, you're bulletproof. And then now you're the tough guy, because now I could go in and I know what they did last summer. And by the way, when you know what someone did last summer, everyone that worked for me would want to go running right away and expose it. I'd say, no. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, maybe not even this year. Maybe in 2 years, we're going to launch that scud when the time is right. Back to fruit. Risky 13. I need to get a mic. It's difficult for you to hear me. Greater good. People seem to not understand the labor intensity that farming requires. Greater good. The labor's insane. I had a guy arguing with me about like, why don't you label your mangoes? I'll tell you exactly why, because my wife and I have done an experiment. She can fill 30 boxes by just filling them in the time it takes me to label 1 box worth of mangoes. Not to mention then, if this guy wants 2 of Carrie and 2 of Glenn and 1 Namdak Mai and 1 Maha Chinook, and you want almost the same, but instead of the Maha Chinook, you want a Naomi, and I box them up and I mix your labels up. It adds complication, and unless you've been in business and you have done like volume, you really don't have an appreciation for those little efficiencies and how I can translate that to savings for my customer, which is what we do. So I'm thank you, Grader. I appreciate that. Here's Gary again. If you start commenting on my channel, I probably won't reply. I've replied to every single, except for a month ago when I told you I'm putting you on timeout. And I have a whole bunch of unreplied comments from you. And we talked about it. You're off timeout. I didn't officially put you on timeout, but you're right. I haven't replied to all of yours. Namelessness got to run to check on the garden. That's great. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us. Rick's been doing a lot of work in Homestead lately. Well, you're going to see a lot of people towing those picker machines this time of year. Greater Good Hospital Cheese Mate, believe me, dude, we had a whole process. Like, we had a thing called a blue sheet, and we'd list out all the decision makers. Are they an influencer? Do they have veto power? Do they control the purse strings? Are they going to be a user? I would know if you came from a hospital that you worked at for 20 years and you used my competitor's system. And I would get through to people who knew you at that other hospital and figure out, do you like my competitor's system or hate it? You might be on the user advisory board for the competitor's system, and I know they're going to be up your ass trying to get you to get their system into my customer, and you're a risk. Or on the other hand, I know you were frustrated all the time with their system. Now I have an ally. People be telling me, oh, you're so lucky. Yeah, I was lucky for 22 years selling $1 billion worth of software. I just kept getting lucky every quarter. Please. Kelly Delmas, howdy from Texas. How you doing, Kelly? Thanks for joining. I recognize your name. I think you've bought fruit from me before. Thank you for your business. Rick used to be free labor for Friends Groves. I help friends. You gotta help your friends. You know what I mean? And your friends gotta help. Well, they don't always help, but some friends help. Yeah. Jeremy Pinto, you can't wait to meet me at Mango Fest. Hey, if you can't wait till the end of June, Come see us at Sleepy Lizard Avocado Farm this Sunday, June 8th at 11 a.m., 19280 Southwest 270th Street, Homestead, Florida. We're just doing a little meetup. I'm gonna have some fruit for sale. If you're from somewhere you can't make it, Jeremy knows this, but if you all don't know, you could also get this fruit at guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. You want to make your biceps look real big, hit the gym, but then put one of these shirts on so you could show it off. Sleepy Lizard Avocado Farm, guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. Double lines, actually that 2 lines, that means something. I'm trying to remember, that's a mathematical symbol. I can't, well, oh, it's absolute value, right? Whatever's in between the 2 lines. I'm going to call you absolute value. What do I do if stealing is happening in my farm? Can the police catch the culprit or not? How do these things work in America, especially in Florida? Well, I did have a bunch of fruit stolen. I had about 1,000 pounds of apples stolen from me last week. They got into my grove, one of my groves, and they picked the trees. And all that was left was the ones that was up real high and the ones that are like up inside the tree that you need a picking machine to get to. So they went in and they picked by hand, or maybe they had a small pole. What do? We call the Ag Patrol. And up until 2025, the Agriculture Patrol would arrest these people, drive them up to Miami, drop them off at City Hall. City Hall wouldn't do shit. They'd set them free. The people would be back down here in Homestead, back in the agricultural district, back to stealing fruit the next day. I'm on the Avocado Growers Committee, and every year we have a meeting. Every month we have a meeting. And in previous years, since COVID especially, because crime really took off at and after. Well, crime was probably the same. Prosecution of criminals really dropped off. And it dropped off here in Dade County. And the agriculture report would be, oh, we made 80 arrests, and one guy I arrested 12 times. One guy I arrested 8 times. It was a revolving door. And we, the farmers and the local people here, we always try to complain, but the county leadership were on that soft on crime, let's not prosecute mode, and just send people right out the door. Now, we're in a world where criminals are getting punished again. And, your right to own private property is being respected again. And so they're getting prosecuted now. And if they're not documented, if they're illegal in this country, they're actually being shipped out of here. In fact, what is it? We're going into June. In April, there was a dozen guys arrested of an organized crime rate. And 2 of them were illegal immigrants from Cuba. They were undocumented. They were in the country illegally. Within 12 hours, they were back in Cuba. They were here, right down the street, stealing mame, I think. And the next day, they're both back in Cuba. The local police can call ICE, and we're enforcing now. It's also a felony to enter a commercial farm and steal. They like to steal fruit. We have a lot of expensive chemicals and fertilizers. They like to steal our diesel pumps. And I mean, it's remote out here. You could sneak around and do a lot of damage, and people do. There are organized fruit theft rings. They've got refrigerated trucks. They've got refrigerated packing houses. They've got distribution channels up in Miami. We have undercover people here, some friends of mine, their wives will actually go up into Miami and make fruit buys. And we know a lot of times, especially with avocados, because it'll be a variety of avocado that's maybe 2 months too early, but the thief stole them anyway. And then our girls, or our undercover girls, will go up there, make those fruit buys. Agricultural police come in just like a drug dealer, round up the street level guys. Where'd you get these avocados? Where'd you get these mangoes? They flip, and they flip all the way up, and that's how we find these. That's how the police are finding these rings. It's a full-on produce economy, black market, done at night. They have people who work for them that go out and do all the picking, and they're often armed. They're often associated with gangs and stuff like that. I'm sure there's money laundering, this big dollar stuff, and they're assholes for doing it. But there are criminals. I think the bigger asshole is the person who steals fruit off a private residence. You got a couple mango trees. Someone thinks it's okay to walk into your yard or jump your fence or reach over your fence, or in some cases they have little ladders and telescoping poles, and they'll be picking fruit, giggling, ha ha ha, stealing this person's fruit. Terrible, unscrupulous, no integrity. It's not your fruit. I know what goes. I grow commercial, so I don't get like too attached. Like, you know, pig farmers don't name their pigs. You know what I mean? But if I had a little house in Coral Gables and I had maybe one avocado tree and 2 or 3 mango trees, a lychee tree, you know, a guava tree, you kind of got all year covered there, right? A star fruit tree. And maybe your grandchildren are coming to visit. You know you've got some mangoes. You're going to pick mangoes, make mango jam, make mango pie, vanilla ice cream with hot mango jam over it. Oh, you're just looking forward to it. They come down every year. They get there. Grandma, can we pick the mangoes tomorrow? Sorry, we can't. Some fucking asshole stole them all. And then they think, they go on the internet, they go on Facebook, you know, oh, look at what I got. My neighbor had so many mangoes on this tree, he don't need them all. He lets them fall to the ground, and then people support them. Oh yeah, ha ha ha. They don't know any better, blah blah blah. They don't know, you know, the value of a mango. I'll tell you right now, if your neighbor has an 80-year-old mango tree that's 50 feet high and 50 feet wide and produces 400 mangoes, and every single one of them falls to the grass, it's your neighbor's property, and he can let those mangoes do whatever the fuck they want, and it ain't on you to decide what to do with your neighbor's mangoes. It's a scumbag thing to do, stealing people's shit. Scumbag thing to do. And it's a shame that over the last like 5-6 years, our culture has gotten to a point where like people say, oh, these criminals, they're just subsistence criminals, like they're robbing lipstick at CVS. What, you feed your baby lipstick? You know, they call it subsistence crime. People are just trying to put bread on the table for their families. No, they're not. No, first of all, they're big fat asses. And secondly, nobody's starving in America. I was saying the other day, there's a food pantry down the street from me, 3 days a week, 4 days a week. It's so popular, they have so much food there that they actually block traffic. I'm not complaining about the food pantry, I'm not complaining that they block the traffic. I mean, yeah, the people could be a little smart and stay at the stop sign and not like block the intersection, you know. In fact, they finally did get around to hiring a security guard to manage the traffic. My point is there are so many people getting free food walking distance from my house that it disrupts traffic. And I see them at the local parks and stuff like too. There's free food everywhere. Nobody's stealing to feed their children. That is bullshit, and they deserve to be punished for it. Let's see. Gary, I put you on timeout. You're right. Rick, you really enjoy the skid steers, so you never complain. Yeah, it's fun to, I mean, there's certain piece of equipment I love to operate. I love using the picking machine because on every mango I pick, I know it's going to go in a box and it's going to go to one of my customers. And this is a little hokey, but I just try to like keep that love going. Like, you bought from me, you trust me. Now I'm up here in the tree and I'm going to find you a nice ripe mango, put it in the bag, come home and pack it. I love that. I also love the shredder. You can take down a whole tree, you know, a trunk this big around. Just shred that thing down, man. You get out of the skid steer after you run the shredder, you're just like, oh, you just feel like a sumo wrestler, man. It's awesome. So I get you. Jupiter, how many folks do I think I'll have Sunday? I don't know. I'm not getting a lot of buzz. I'm not getting a lot of feedback. I don't know if people don't want to come or what the deal is. We'll have to see. I did a meetup last year. We had about 80 people throughout the day, and then around 5 o'clock it started to rain really hard, and it chased everyone away, and no one came back. I think I'm going to have karaoke. It's going to be a fun time. It's not like drive up, buy some mangoes and go. I want people to drive up, pull a chair out of their trunk, sit down, you know, have a little water, bring a few beers if you want, whatever. Just don't bring your dogs. We don't want dogs here. There's already enough dogs. There'll be a whole, I got animals, I got chickens, no dogs, but bring everything else. And, right, no dogs or no?
No, no dogs.
No dogs. And I'm hoping we get a turnout. We'll see. But even if it's a dozen people, I'm going to have fun because it's going to be a dozen people I love spending time with.
It's going to be awesome.
Redland Tavern, House Band Jams. I mean, who all sing? I can't play any instruments, but I can't sing, but I can sing, but I just don't sing. But I can physically vibrate my vocal cords rhythmically. Just when that vibrates the air molecules and they bounce off your eardrum, it's not going to sound real good, but I can do it, at least. Clock Repair hasn't created a new account in months. Yes, you did. You have a new one on this account already that I spotted. Let's see. Rick. Yeah, I'm having a get-together on Sunday, 11 a.m. Sleepy Lizard Avocado Farm, Sunday, June 8th, 11 a.m., 19280 Southwest 270th Street, Homestead, Florida. And if you can't make it in person, but you want to get some mangoes, guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. Person who won the hat, don't forget to send me an email. Jeremy Pinto wishes he could make it. Yeah, Tampa's a long way to come. I get it. I wouldn't. Maybe if I was 20, I'd drive that far to see a girl. But other than that, I ain't.
You should offer one of my classes too.
What do you want to do? You do it.
Okay.
You want to take over the stream? All right, go ahead. Okay,
No.
This is my wife. She's going to take over the stream now.
No.
What do you want me to do?
No.
I'm ready for a bite of mango anyhow. Go ahead, darling.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Okay, you guys, you know that I'm a wellness coach and I can help my clients to lose weight, to get toned, to get an amazing body, to learn how to eat healthy and delicious like the way that we eat. So the first one, what kind of question we can ask to wrap up class? So,
What's your name?
What's my name?
Yeah, get to know your name.
Okay. The person
No.
no. Oh, that's a good one.
But this ain't for someone who's already won a contest. We got to get some new
Ooh.
merch getters here, okay?
So this is a good question.
Got it.
What's the drug that people are taking right now that is making them lose a lot of weight rapidly? If I said that, I'm going to give you a free. So let's see.
Let's see who gets it.
Let's
Jupiter knows, but Jupiter has won contests before.
Oh, Jupiter.
Greater Good is keeping silent because I think he just won it. No, he got the right answer. Greater's won from me before. I've given Greater stuff before, I think. Yes, sir. Greater Sunday is Party in the Grove. Roundabout Hexagons. For some reason, you have 20. Yeah, that's you. I forgot that is you. Jupiter. It's Grand Theft, third degree felony. Castle doctrine extends to the property, meaning no trespassing. I wouldn't go that far. I'll shoot squirrels for stealing my mangoes, but I probably would just yell at a person.
Yeah.
Let's see. Greater Good, they'll impregnate your goats. Yeah. Are you still talking about, who are you talking about, Greater? Rick, thieves even steal from regular yards. Yeah, it's terrible. Coco Jean-Louis, you got your box of uglies yesterday. You're getting ready to order another 2 today. Are the uglies all hanging or do we mix them up? Well, first of all, Coco, thanks for your business.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your face. I recognize you. You're a very fun commenter on my channel. Thank you. We're uglies. The uglies were mostly Hayden. Now, every now and then I was coming across an ugly Van Dyke or an ugly here and there that I added on to the uglies. But we're pretty much done with Hayden at this point, so I don't offer the uglies anymore. And we're moving into the summer varieties now, which would be more Van Dykes, these Zills I showed you today, more of that peach variety seedling that we have. We're going to start getting into Kent, Valencia Pride ain't too far away, Naomi, Glenn. Yeah. But those aren't. Hayden is very, very susceptible to anthracnose. And so I don't really have many more uglies. Yes, I do have a no spray grove, this grove that I get most of my mangoes from. We don't spray. However, next year we probably will. However, even a dirty Namdak Mai is still a clean looking mango.
Yeah.
You know, now the kits are going to be dirty as hell by the end of the season, but kits are known to be dirty. Like that's just kits are on the tree all summer long till August, September, right? And so even if you're spraying twice a month, every 2 weeks, it rains every day. It's going to wash the spray off, and then the humidity's in the air, the fungus settles. Kits are just known to be a dirty mango. Period.
Oh my God, babe.
No, I only have cleans now. Sorry about that. Let's see if anyone got your question, Molly.
Oh yeah,
Growing Together says meth. Meth? I've always thought meth would be the secret to the obesity
look.
epidemic.
You said that before.
I've said it before.
You said that before.
Get people hooked on meth. They'll lose weight. They'll get their houses really clean, right? Like if they're hoarders, they'll have a really clean house.
You said that. That's so funny.
And then we treat the meth addiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's easier to get someone off of meth than it is to treat a food addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Food addiction is very hard to treat.
It's very hard. You know why? Because if you're taking drugs, you can stop taking drugs, but you cannot stop eating.
You can't stop eating.
It's very hard.
All right, Noe, Heinz Sight
Oh, yeah.
got it right. Ozempic.
Okay.
Jexy also got it right.
Okay.
Hindsight, here's what I need you to do. Go to the About section of the YouTube channel, click on the Send Me an Email button or Contact Creator button. Send me an email. Say you're Hindsight and you won my wife's contest, and then I'll give her your information, and she'll reach out to you for the free class.
Who else got it?
Jexy.
Jexy. Give one to Jexy too.
Look at you! Listen, when I do these mango contests, you're not in charge. Giving away. What you doing? We're running a business here.
But it's a girl. Jexy sounds like a girl.
I don't know.
No, the first one was a guy, and the second one is a girl.
You don't know that.
No.
Hindsight, you would do it to a chick. Jexy, you would do it to a chick. Let us know. Rick, a potato launcher is fun for deterring thieves. I mean, look. You tell people you got robbed, right? Burglarized. Everyone has all these awesome solutions, right, for you. Oh, you should get cameras. Oh, you should get a Ring doorbell and monitor on your... You should get dogs. You should have a gun, right? But everyone I know who has all that shit, they get burglarized too.
Yeah.
And my brother is a federal law enforcement officer. His house in Miami has been burglarized 3 times. He has cameras probably, you could probably see the innermost orifices of his body. He has cameras everywhere, right? Every time the Miami police came, when he called about the burglaries, they wouldn't even take the footage. They wouldn't even want to look at the videos, right? People tell me all the time, oh, my car got stolen, I have a car alarm. I'm like, yeah, no shit, you know? And people, oh, you need cameras. Well, what's a camera gonna do? I'm gonna see the people who took my mangoes. I ain't gonna do shit. The mangoes are gone. I'm out the money. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The solution to this, the solution to this crime wave we're in is twofold. Number one, we need to prosecute crime again. People need to know there's consequences and it's not okay to commit crime, particularly personal property crime. Like a guy will break into a house and someone will shoot him, and he was there to steal a TV. And people say, "Oh, a human life is worth more than a TV." Yeah, you're right. A human life is worth more than a TV.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
I was on a roll.
I'm sorry.
It's too fucking late. You interrupt me. Go ahead.
It's like you did.
Go ahead.
No,
If what you have to say is so important,
No, I'm
don't let me
agreeing.
stop you.
I'm agreeing.
Go ahead.
I'm agreeing.
Agree with me.
Yes.
What do you want to say?
The
say
Latin
it.
America. Stop. The Latin America is like that. People don't get persecuted and they don't care, and the crime is to the roof.
Prosecute.
Prosecuted.
Persecute is different.
Prosecuted. They don't. I mean, think about it. Like they can get away with a lot of stuff because that's a huge problem. I'm disagreeing with you.
I read a book called The Honest Truth About Dishonesty.
Mm-hmm.
And the number one factor of whether someone is willing to be dishonest or not is the likelihood of getting caught.
Yep.
The second is fatigue. So even if you're an honest person with integrity and you work as a bookkeeper at your brother-in-law's contracting firm, and for whatever reason you handle $10,000 worth of cash every week, 20, 21, 22 years down the line, you might have a bad day, you might have a little bit of a head cold, didn't sleep so good the night before. You know what, I'm gonna take $500. I'll put it back on Monday. And you do.
Yep.
And then you do it again and you put it back. And then you say, you know what, I'm gonna take the $500 and put it back on Monday. And Monday rolls around and say, I'm just gonna keep it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how dishonesty works, because you've been there 20-something years, your brother-in-law trusts you, you know you're not gonna get caught. Your first day on the job, you don't dare put 500s in your pocket. You know they're gonna check on you. You know you're gonna get busted, right?
Yeah.
These people have no fear of getting caught. You see the video. They walk into damn CVS, steal whatever, Target, steal whatever the hell they want, you know, and people are cheering them on. It's fucking retarded. Like, it's just stupid, right? So I think number one, people need to know there's consequences. And then number two, culturally. Like, culturally, people need to be a little offended by crime. Like, we had friends in one conversation, the guy was talking about these scumbags that broke into his bakery. He has a bakery business. He was talking about it. Then the conversation kind of drifted, and he was talking about returning his leased vehicle. And there was $3,000 worth of damage done to the vehicle. And he took it to return it. And the person found the damage and said, you gotta pay the $3,000 or take it to a mechanic and get it fixed. He said, I'll take it to a mechanic and get it fixed. The next day he went back and returned the vehicle. It was a different person. And he told a lie somehow, like somehow he bamboozled the person, and he didn't say whatever it was that triggered them about the $3,000, and he turned the car in. And he was bragging about it. Now, a minute earlier, he was talking about how people are scumbags and how they broke into his bakery and fucked him over by committing a crime. Then he went and fucked over another company by doing the same exact thing to the tune of $3,000. And everyone at the table was like, oh, that was smart. Oh, yeah, you were good to go back the second day. No, that was dishonest and scummy. Dishonest and scummy. When we first moved to this farm, I loved it because we were living in Miami, right, in an urban setting-ish, right? We were on an island, but like we had to deal with city traffic and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you were going to like Home Depot or Best Buy, it was a half-day adventure. By the time you got there in the traffic and waited in line and got home, and if you got home from Best Buy and realized you forgot something, you know, a $100 speaker or laptop or something, you were like, fuck it, I ain't going back. It's 4 hours to go. I'll just suck up the $100 loss. Okay. We moved here to this little farmer town. I go and I get a brand new TV for our house. I come home, and as I was unloading the TV, I dropped it and I cracked it, and I went back to Best Buy.
I remember that.
And I told the guy, I said, I dropped it. And he goes, no, you didn't. I said, no, I dropped it. I said, I'm the one that caused this damage. And he goes, no, you didn't. I said, yes, it is. Yes, I did. He goes, no, you didn't. I'm going to pack it up, and I'm going to take it, and I'm going to come out here and give you a brand new one. And I said, okay. I tried to tell you 3 times. Like I felt clean in my conscience.
You were.
Because I told the decision, I was honest with the decision maker. And I think the manager, I think he appreciated my honesty and rewarded it with a fresh TV. I was ready to drop another $1,000, like an hour later, on a new TV, because it was my mistake. And whatever, I don't know. They're just, people have lost that, you know?
Yeah.
People have lost that.
People have no principle.
Yeah.
What are they saying?
They're talking about being poor. Let's see here. Greater Good's gonna come see us on Sunday, Noe, that's right. Yep. Rick's gonna fire up the veggie van, whatever the veggie van is. We'll get to see what that is. The guy from Double Lines, the Absolute Value Sign, is trying to find a video about the time when our house burnt down. Couldn't find it. Is it still affecting my life? And you said that you got a hand tremor. Yeah, that video's out there somewhere. If you go back around November 2020, you'll find that video. And yeah, because not only were we out of the house for 7 months because of the fire, and I had to fight the fire with fire extinguishers till they got here, but then she became chronic. Well, you're better now, but she almost died. Okay, I think we're back.
Okay. How many people are...
We probably lost everybody.
Oh, no.
Son of a bitch, looks like the stream froze.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Stream froze. Oh, that's a pain in the nuts. Let's see. Looks like we might be back. I don't know.
Are we?
Yeah, let's see. So anyways, the hard part, and I'm sure y'all have been through, many of you have probably been through traumatic things, particularly if you're like a military veteran. But to stand there surrounded in smoke with your whole house on fire, up above you, in front of you, feel that heat, smell those smells, hear the the little alarm bells going off. Knowing that if it happened at night, the wall that's on fire, the other side of that wall is your child's bedroom, your 10-year-old son's bedroom. It was tough. It was rough. It changed me. Yeah, it definitely changed me. There's no doubt about it. Yep. Okay. Let's see here. Where are we? We're lost. Grader's coming on Sunday. Rick eats a lot of food, but he's skinny. Jeremy wishes he had a private plane to fly to Homestead. That would be awesome.
Oh
Jeremy.
my God, I would love that.
Rick's house is a dump, never been robbed, nothing to take. Same here. I mean, our furniture was shipped the day we bought it from Rooms to Go, and that was in 1999, and we still have it. Our friends get mad at us, you know.
Yeah.
My car is a 1997 Dodge Dakota that my brother gave me. Your Jeep is a 2014 Jeep with 220,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing you'd want, like when we used to go on road trips, you know, before my son started playing football, we could go away for like a month in the summer. We'd have our mountain bikes with us. I'd have my laptop. I didn't care if even my doors were locked here. There was nothing you could steal. No. There was literally like our TV, like $1,000. Like what? Our washer and dryer. We have like regular old Maytag twist style, $250. Like there was nothing. Maybe some of my tools, maybe like a floor jack or something. But other than that, there was nothing here. There's nothing here to even steal.
No.
Yeah. We're simple.
We're very simple.
Yeah. Jepsy thanks you, Noe.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't tell us. You a dude or a girl? Hedgehog and Scout set up booby traps next to the fruit trees. Yeah, but then my workers will set them off. I can't be hurting them, guys. Greater good, looking poor works. Yeah, Rick, Rick says I am poor. Greater good, so poor the cockroaches moved out. Rick, I'll throw a joke in. We were so poor growing up, our parents had to cut holes in our pockets just so we had something to play with. Greater good, they used to throw you in jail for writing a bad check. I actually think they still do that. I think floating checks is still seen as two things that are really seen as bad crimes are kidnapping and writing bad checks. Because like you can't have a society where there's kidnapping and we have to, like you just can't have that. And you gotta depend on your currency, like your medium of exchange. And so those two crimes, I mean, kidnapping, you're gonna probably get caught. You can probably get away with murder easier than getting away with kidnapping.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because the FBI ain't gonna give up. Or whoever's in, like, they're gonna go after that big time. Check writing also. They're not gonna, they just can't, like, look at what happened in California with the shoplifting and the people raiding Target and the stores leaving. It created like a societal meltdown. You couldn't have that in our banking system.
No.
Counterfeiting, that kind of stuff. They're still I know they're very strict about that. Mr. F, you tried an ugly Betty this week. Wow, all the new mangoes that growers have developed are incredible. See us soon. By the way, if I need squirrel control, and I'm sure he's got another comment coming. I haven't tried the ugly Betty, but I've heard good things about it. And are you going to go to the Mango Fest in Palm Beach County in the month? Or you could come here June 8th, SleepyLizard Avocado Farm, 11 a.m. We're having a meetup. Okay, Coco Jean Louise, you went online to order a box of uglies and they're not there. Yeah, I don't have any uglies. I don't have any left. You guys bought them all. Sorry about that. Jupiter, still here. We can't get rid of you. Rick is glad to finally meet a YouTuber in his area. Stream came back. Gary's sorry about the wife and the house fire. Well, she recovered. But she got sick. She hardly got out of bed for 2 years. She was in bed for about 16 months, and then she started to recover for 2 years. She didn't drive a car for over a year. She'd go and walk from the bed to the kitchen. And then she started to get better, and we got hopeful. And then it came back even worse. And she was sick for another, I'd say 6 months. And then we finally, we found a doctor that put her on a steroid. She had nerve damage. She had damage to the vagus nerve that controls your heartbeat. and this doctor put her on a steroid, and it's indicated to recover that nerve. And then one day she said, she got down to 103 pounds. And then one day she said, I'm hungry. I hadn't heard her say she was hungry in 2 years. And she got up herself and went in the kitchen, which she didn't do either, and made a big bowl of popcorn. And when I reached my hand in, it was all melted butter. Her body was craving calories. She gained 16 pounds back in 2 weeks. Over the third week, she gained another 3 pounds. She gained 19 pounds over 3 weeks. She went from 103 to 122, back to her regular weight. And then it was like then she could just about walk around the house. And then she could walk around the house twice. And now she's fully recovered. So, yeah, that was a bad one. Coco Jean, it might have been you. You might have bought all the uglies. Rick's been on YouTube since 2007 and hasn't met anyone. I met a YouTuber, and I promised the guy I wouldn't say who he was. It was at a crowded event. It was a fruit event. He's a YouTuber. He has nothing to do with fruit, his YouTube. The guy has gotten billions of views, but it's kind of a crazy channel that he's on. Kind of very crazy. And I recognized him, man. And I'm like, hey, I think I know who you are. He goes, yeah, it's me. I said, I said, don't worry, I won't say anything to anyone. He goes, yeah, please don't, you know. And he was super cool and super normal. His YouTube thing is all shtick. It's all show. It's all entertainment. But it's one of those what a lot of people would consider that trashy YouTube. But we're talking billions of views. Guarantee you the guy's a multimillionaire just off his YouTube revenue. It was kind of cool. I just had him by surprise. And a really cool dude. Like, not at all like the role he created for himself on his YouTube channel. Ruben Hinojosa. You're from California. How you doing, Ruben? Welcome. Yeah, the day is advancing over there. It's late morning for you guys. I'd love to be able to sell you some mangoes at guacfarm.com, but the state of California won't take our mangoes from Florida. Sorry about that. But if you did want to buy some fruit from us, you could get a mame. We sell mame. Florida lets mame, and they also let our avocados into the state. And again, that's guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. Coco Jean sounds traumatic. Yeah, it was a hard time for us, Coco Jean, you know, and the YouTube channel was really taking off then too, and I just had to let it die because I had no capacity to make videos, you know what I mean? It consumed me. It was a very dark period. Yeah, it was tough. It set us back a good decade in terms of financially. It was a rough couple of years. It's not good to have a house fire. It's one of the worst. It's probably one of the worst things people could go through. Yeah, I never really talked about it. How did I find this land where I am now? Can I expand on that? Yeah. Well, I work for a super big corporation. So the question is, how did we wind up here at Sleepy Lizard Avocado Farm? I work for one of the world's largest corporations. For 22 years of my life, I made it up to sales VP. I had the Southeast. I was running $160 million a year sales territory, flying all over the country. I would fly to Germany for a day. I'd get on a plane on Tuesday night, straight night, right from the airport to the meeting, work in Germany all day Wednesday, sleep in a hotel Tuesday morning on a plane back in Miami by 5 p.m. I go there for one day. Traveling all the time. I loved it though. I loved the challenge of it. I found it fun. But I was through the tech crash in 1999-2000. I was through the housing market bust and the credit crunch in 2007-2008. And I'd watched a lot of people get laid off. And I'd watched a lot of people who made really good money throughout their careers. I'm talking like 55-year-olds that have been working 30 years making six-figure salaries from like the 80s on, who did no planning. One guy didn't even own a house, he was renting all his life. He just made so much money, he just never worried about setting himself up for the future. I think he thought the gravy train would never end. And a lot of people from that generation, those people would all be like in their 70s now, right? They came up in a generation where there weren't a lot of layoffs. Now, if you're from the Rust Belt, you're from Ohio, you're from Pennsylvania like me, Pittsburgh, Indiana, certain places in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, right? in that case, you've seen your uncles, your dad, your friends' dads lose their jobs, right? But a lot of people haven't really experienced the idea of layoffs. And then they all started losing their job in the tech crash in 1999. And they were dead meat. You couldn't get a job. There were no jobs. And then the economy recovered and we, started to soar again. And then boom, we had that credit crunch in 2007. The housing bubble burst. And I got to watch all that. And I said to my wife, we got to be ready. We got to be ready because this ain't going to last forever for us either. I'm going to get laid off on one of these. Next time the economy takes a downturn or some catastrophe, I may be the one who loses his job. And if you think about it, when you are getting laid off, it generally is when the economy is taking a downturn. Nobody's getting laid off when hiring is at all-time highs, right? We get laid off when hiring is at low. So it's hard to find a new job, too. So I started kind of, just like in a business, you want to have a business continuity plan, right? Like me, if something happens to one of my mango groves, what am I going to do, right? If I've got a week's worth of orders to fill, and a hurricane hits and I got no mangoes up this way, maybe a tornado hit, where am I going to, you got to have a continuity, like my label printer, what do I do if that stops working? I got to have I got to have something, right? You always have to have business continuity. And I said, well, I need to have that in life as well. And I started thinking and said, if I can get a property that I can also put to work, so we live there, but it also generates revenue. So get a really nice house on a lake that's got some cottages and rent the cottages out, maybe rent the property out for weddings. Buy a property that's got a horse stable and places to walk horses, right? And you can board horses and make a living that way. Get a 4-unit building, live in one, rent the other 3. You get the idea. So that if I ever do lose my job, at least my house, which is not only our biggest expense, but our most important expense, right? You don't want to be homeless. So that our house is covered. And I started looking into it and I said, I think a small farm might do it. And particularly here, these little small avocado farms. Now, the mango business fell apart. Imports have really taken over for the mango business, but the avocado business is still strong. Now, there's other fruits that you can have really good years and really bad years. Avocado is steady. You're going to have steady revenue with avocados. It's just historically, it's how it's been. And so I said, let's get an avocado farm, and that way, when the big company finally does lay me off, we'll at least have a revenue stream so we don't lose our house. And if our house, our taxes, and our hurricane insurance is covered, I can get a job doing anything. I can get a job painting houses. I can get a job driving a truck. I can do whatever because I'm not going to have to worry about losing my house. So then we started looking around for properties, coming down here, checking out a lot of farms, checking out a lot of different properties, and we looked at the property next door. And as we were walking around the yard, I came to the edge of the fence and I said to my wife, that's the kind of place I want to live, which is the place we live in. Now, when I went home that night, I went on the little, I think they call it Zelle. No, that's the financial app. Zillow, Trugelia, whatever. Those little online real estate things, maybe it was called Zillow. Anyways, I went on there and this property was for sale. It was for sale. So I call up the realtor and I'm like, I want to look at the next door property. And she's like, well, I'm confused. That's 2 times as much as the properties we've been looking at. I said, don't worry. Like, as a lifetime salesman, the one thing I hate is when the fucking salesman, first question out of their mouth, what's your budget? So how much you looking to spend? What a fucking dumb question, man. What a dumb question. Okay, I'm going to answer that question, and then you're just going to hammer some piece of shit offering into my budget. Nah. And of course, that's what she wanted to know. What are you willing to spend? And I kind of just dropped a few numbers, and that's what she was showing me. This place was twice that. Oh, well, that's out of your budget. No, it ain't. No, it ain't out of my budget. Let's go look at it. You just don't know how to do your job, And so we came here, and I made an offer and bought the place. And then I was just doing commercial, just selling to packing houses. And then I did a video about a fruit called Monstera deliciosa, which is kind of a rare fruit. And it's shaped like an ear of corn. So I used all kinds of penis innuendo and sex toy innuendo in making the video. I thought it was rather funny. And the video took off, and then people wanted to see more about the farm. And as I showed more about the farm, they wanted to buy the fruit. So then I created guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com, where you can go to buy the fruit. And then last year was the first year I didn't sell to the packing house at all. I sold my entire crop retail, which is why this year now I've added capacity. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I didn't sell any avocados to the packing house last year. And now, so we started out with 5 acres 13 years ago, and we're up to 30 acres now. And I feel like when someone says, "What do you do?" and I say farmer, I feel legit. Like, I don't feel like I'm imposter syndrome. I am a farmer. You know, I feel like a farmer. You know, I'm in this industry. So yeah. I mean, I'd love to go back, like, to the corporate world. That'd be cool too. I mean, the problem is I know I could quit now. Like, I got all this. So if I just kind of turned this over to my son and went back, you know, and just kind of helped him out a little bit and went back to the corporate environment, and then they start playing their stupid games like they like to play, especially with salespeople, like underpaying us and stuff like that. The risk is I'd probably just quit. Like, I'd probably look a guy in the eye and say, "Fuck you, I quit." You know what I mean? Like, I put up with a lot, but I got paid really well. So, like, I was gonna put up with it, you know what I mean? But I put up with a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of people think they can sell, and they can't. It's like people say, like, just because you eat in a restaurant doesn't mean you could run a restaurant. A lot of people think because they could buy, they know how to sell. And our engineers who would create our products would love to tell me how to sell our products. And one of the things they loved to do was not tell me the shortcomings of the product. They feel like, well, if the salesman doesn't know where we're weak, then he can't possibly expose that to the customer. And what I'd say is, that's called leading with your chin. If I don't know where we're weak and where we're strong, if I sell heavy where we're weak and not heavy where we're strong, we're gonna lose the order, you know? And it was just, it's hard. Sales is hard. People think sales is easy. They think it's a job for people who can't do something else. And in a lot of cases it is. That's shitty sales. But real salesmen are artists. And especially in this, like, corporate, like these, you know, 10, 20, 40, $60 million software sales we were doing, I equate that to, like, professional athletes. Like you made it. Like, there was no way you were getting into that job if you were bad at it. And my peers were really, really good. And everyone's like, "Oh, salesmen are liars," and they're no. The best salesmen are the most empathetic, caring people. They know when to shut up and listen. They're gonna know when's your birthday. They're gonna know your Aunt Lucy died. They're gonna send you flowers. They're gonna remember everything about you. And it's not because they have it written on a card and they studied it before they went to see you, like some, you know, idiot will teach you on some internet. No, they're born that way. They are people. They're likable people, and they like people. They love their customers. That's what a true salesman is. The unscrupulous people, the two areas that were the most toxic, the most easy, like they had no qualms about screwing people over, were the finance people, the people who worked in accounting, and HR. Evil people. They would lie, they would manipulate. HR would come out and say, "Oh, great news, guys, we've got this excellent PTO policy. You're gonna have 4 weeks off every year, whether it's vacation or a doctor appointment or a hospital. You don't have to provide a note, you don't have to give notice, you could just take 4 weeks, 20 days, whenever you want to take it." I raise my hand. "Why are you telling us it's a good thing?" "Well, it's a great thing. You don't need doctor's notes anymore." "Yeah, but I used to get 4 weeks vacation and 4 weeks sick time. And if I use the sick time, I still have my vacation over here untouched. I'm cool bringing you a note for 4 additional weeks off if I get sick. So what you're really telling me is now if I get sick, I have to cannibalize my sick time." And they'd be trying to sell it. I say, listen, when we roll this out to the employees, this is when they roll out to the VPs, you know, Let's not sell it. Let's just tell them this is how it is. Tough fucking noogies, move on. They'll respect you more for that. And these people they couldn't understand that. You know, people don't understand the value of no. I have people texting me all the time. Can I make a custom order? Can I have 2 Valencia Pride and 1 kit? No. Can I have 2 Kents and maybe you put a mango or put a mamey and an avocado and a jam in there? Can you do this? No, I can't. Because the minute I start doing that, I'm no longer a $50 a box guy. I'm a $150 a box guy, and then I'm not serving my market. And people respect when you're honest. And I tell people, look, if you want to order by variety, if you want to order multiple mango, you know, you want to specify what you want, I actually give them the links because it's my friends that sell it, and I'm happy to give my friends the business. You're bulletproof if you say no. I got off on another tangent. Sorry about that. So that's my story of how we found the farm. Herman Orkies, what mango or avocados do I have available? Avocado cuttings, I got Donnie, Simmons, Catalina, Hall, Monroe, Choquette, Miguel, it's probably about it, Pollock. Mango, I don't have any. I only do mango on even years. I don't like to take cuttings every year because it affects my fruit output. For avocados, it don't matter, but for mangoes, if I go cutting too much, I don't get as many mangoes, and I need a lot of mangoes because you guys love them so much because you love to buy them at guacfarm.com. GUACFARM.com. Robin Videos, hello from Turkey. It's nice to know you too, Robin. Thank you. And you know what? I love it. Robin says that his priority is having good-hearted, well-mannered people around him. I say that about my son all the time, you know. Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. My son had his 2 friends over last night. We had fajitas together. And they're just such good boys, you know. And now I have my son, I asked a fellow farmer if my son could go to work for him for the summer. Yes, I want my son to have a job. And yes, my son is capable of getting a job anywhere. The reason I wanted him to go to work for this guy is this guy is a man of high integrity. He's a hustler. He's smart. And his employees have an extremely high work ethic. I mean, like, super good work ethic. And I want my son to be exposed to that. I want my son to be around that. I want him to turn into one of those people. Let's see. FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. As an FBI agent, I can confirm you'll come to my house if you write a bad check. Will you bring all your cousins? This guy, he went and created a new ID just for us today. Thank you, Gary Simpson. That's cool. Jupiter Mojo. Yeah, I'm not doing mango scions this year. I am doing avocado. Mango I do on even years. Gary Simpson's happy to know my wife has recovered. Greater good. She now has the chickens, and which is great because my son has his driver's license, so we're empty nesters now, so she needs something to care for. Rick says free mangoes at his house. Greater Goods bringing Cary mangoes to your neighbor's house. Oh, they're going to love them. They're going to love them. I had a very light Cary crop this year, and I brought a few home to eat. They are one of my favorite mangoes. They're so good. Rick was born and raised in Jupiter, confirmed it's Zillow. Greater Good says it's Trulia. I think both of them do that. Coco says it's all good stuff. She's getting business tips as well as life strategies. Hey, I appreciate you hanging in there, Coco. Rockaways has a 1/4 acre. 30 acres is a lot. I mean, I have help. You know what I mean? We got workers, and I have a partner, and we have equipment and stuff like that. So it helps. You know, you grow. You work your way up, and then Jupiter wants to know about getting government assistance and insurance. Well, that's a problem. They, I'll just say it. They don't give it to white people. It's a documented issue. And we actually had the federal government come to our growers committee. And if you are not in a minority-owned farm, you go to the bottom of the list for a lot of that government assistance, which I'm not going to complain about it because I haven't needed any government assistance. But it's a thing that's being really ripped open now with the new administration, and they're looking at some of this like fraud, waste, and abuse and stuff like that. But if the guy straight up from the Department of Agriculture at our meeting did say, like, if you're not a minority, your request actually goes to not from something community, like a disadvantaged community, which I don't, I mean, you know, I'm a straight up white dude, you know, straight up American guy from Pennsylvania. And so those kind of things aren't too available to us. Now FEMA obviously is available to everyone and stuff like that. But no, it's not, there's not really any USDA programs for just like someone who just wants to up and start a farm. Now, if you're, you know, like say a female from a disadvantaged community, there's projects out there to help you, which I'm not bothered by that. A lot of people are bothered by that. I personally, even when I have been eligible for FEMA, I've chosen not to take it because like we just have in other words, if I get hit by a hurricane and we can bring in a couple of skid steers and have this place cleared out in 3 days, why do I even want to bother with FEMA? You know what I mean? Like, why would I even open up a claim? I could just, you know, 3 days of my workers here with our equipment and we're pretty much cleared out. It's, you know, so I would rather the help go to the people who need it anyway, but I'm not 100% certain that the criteria that's used to decide what need it means has been 100% above board over the last few years, you know what I mean? So I don't know, like I say, I'm not an insider, I have no insider knowledge on that, but that's what was presented to us by the federal government at last month's Growers Committee meeting. Okay, I'm done. We've been doing this for 107 minutes, and I gotta run to Harbor Freight and get some stuff for Sunday, so I want to thank you all for joining the stream, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.